So let's go with you first, Keenan, and then we'll ask you, Dens, and then Tandy. Um, sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. Keenan, who is your flop of the year?
So I've got three, and they're like in different categories. So there's the obvious choice. So the obvious choice is Mazepin. Everyone knows he was dog shit. I feel like you can't even actually say he's bad. Like just go be rich. There's no need for you to prove anything to anyone. Like it's getting worse by the day. Like by the
Yes.
weekend, it's getting worse. So that was like the obvious choice. And then I don't know. I hope I'm not going to get crucified for this, but like statistically, and I know everyone was doing like the whole nostalgia thing with all the fan cams when he left, but Giovinazzi was also like if you look at the stats, like he's not great. Like there was no points scored, nothing. Oh, sorry, 3 points, 3 points scored. So not great. And then my personal choice, like Daniel Ricciardo. Like I've never seen a flop like that was just like a descent like into hell like fast. And he's the more experienced driver in McLaren, so you'd think he'd do better, but he didn't. He had one podium. They celebrated for 6 weeks, and then nothing after that. Um, and then he still ended up behind Sainz, behind Lando, and behind Charles. So yeah, not great from his side, and I feel like he's just been running from team to team, away from every battle. And I don't know, like after this, where's he gonna go?
She read, my guy.
Let's have the conversation. Oh my god. Let's have it.
It's
Okay.
smoky.
It's smoky in it. Because I'll tell you why. Because I tried to have this conversation. Earlier in the season. Okay. I got told, no, we've got to wait. We've got to wait. We're going to wait and see what happens. We're going to let him get used to the car. Denz, I'm going to come back to you. Tandy, it's time. Okay. Your boy was. I can't even. Your boy was so bad this year. It was actually
When
embarrassing.
when did the honey badger become the hamster?
I would like to play the
Oh,
background.
I would like to know as well. He's out here. I'm embarrassed, you guys. I am so embarrassed. Like, what the hell? Like, bro, I feel like all year my guy has just been. He hasn't really been on Formula One. His whole thing has kind of just been here for a good time, not a long time. Let me make sure I have good merch and just turn up and smile. And it's like, bro, like, where the fuck have you been? He's that
Mate.
worker. You know when you work in an office and there's that guy who's always on a smoke break. He's always taking the extended lunch breaks. He's always in the toilet.
Bro,
And yet he wants to and yet it comes to 5 o'clock, he's like,
you know Daniel Ricciardo? Daniel Ricciardo is that guy. You know you've got a deadline, you're rushing, you're looking like I'm gonna get this out. Daniel Ricciardo, come over to your desk. Oh God, it's what are you up to? You up to much? Oh, I'm just trying to get this out. Oh, fair play. God, so I was talking to the missus the other day, and God, she's making me pie for dinner this evening. I didn't even. But Daniel, I'm busy.
Daniel,
Daniel,
got a whole race going on.
brother, go back to work. I can't believe
I don't
it.
know what it is, guys. Maybe because Daniel didn't actually get to go home to Australia. Maybe he left his brain cells there, but I hope he brings them for the next season because this is embarrassing. And where Keenan said that she feels like this guy now just hops. She called him a whore. Okay, she said you're a team whore, and I hear it. I hear it, Daniel. I don't like to shame people, okay? I won't shame
We
nobody
are
for
a
going from team
sex
to team.
positive podcast.
Hmm.
Whore is non-gender specific
Yeah,
as well.
trust me. But we've got to call out the Formula One whores, the whores of the Formula One society, and that man is just jumping from team to team to team to team. And everyone, sometimes I was on that team where we wanted to maybe blame the team. Red Bull weren't nice to him. They didn't understand him. What is there
Look,
to understand here, guys?
A good example of that, though, is that if we look at a driver like Gasly, also Red Bull wasn't treated very great, had
Mhm.
a really bad season that didn't end well, and he's doing really well in AlphaTauri. Like he's doing so good. He's scoring consistent points. He's showing up for the team, and I swear to God, like if I see Daniel Ricciardo in another cowboy hat doing some stupid shit like get in the simulator and do your job first before you go out there and smile. I don't even care about all this. Like, I think the smile just got so much more annoying as the season progressed because I was like, I
Honestly,
just
Yeah.
want you to do your job. Like, I remember you were like such a hungry driver, and that just feels like it's completely disappeared. Like, he's got no hunger to beat the driver just even in front of him.
Mark Webber threw up in his helmet, and he's more iconic. He's my goat now. Sorry, he's my Australian phase.
Oof. 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 But guys, can
Dens,
I add something?
Dens. I was gonna say, Dens. Let's bring you in,
I'll
bro.
I'll
We've
throw
been we've been going in. We've been
I
going
know.
in. So
Listen, let me throw my Aussie a little rope and a kangaroo hat or something because you lot are going in on him. But what we'll say is you can't argue it. He's had an absolutely disastrous season for his own standards. He got absolutely trounced by Lando Norris. There's no excuse for it. I would say the redeeming factors for Ricardo this season has maybe been the win in Monza. It seemed to be when he got that win in Italy this year, it happened to change some of the momentum. We seemed to get some of the old kind of sass back from Ricardo when he came back with the sassy radio message saying, "Oh, I'd never left. I was just on the side," And also, what I would say is, towards the end of the season, he seemed to be a bit more consistent than maybe Lando. Whereas I think when Lando had that howler in Russia, where my guy didn't box with the intermediates because he's too busy shouting at his engineers, you could see that Lando's kind of focus changed a bit and it affected him. He even did I think an interview with Good Morning Britain, and he was getting involved in all these politics left, right, and center. What I think is with Ricardo, as soon as like he got that win in Monza, he was like, okay, this is a decent foot for me to build on. Let me try and build it up, and it's been reflected in the championship results because I think Lando got 160 points and Ricardo got 115. So only 45 points difference, despite the beating looking so tragic at times.
look at that. Look at that. Just a little bit of. Do you mean
His voice, man.
it's
Thank you.
lovely?
God,
What a lovely voice.
mate.
I love to memorize you guys up by it. That's
Like, I could just hear you talk all day, brother. So, what I was gonna say, look, when we put out that tweet and we were like, "Who's the most overrated driver?" I did not expect it to be the Daniel Ricciardo cooking session that it turned into. Like it was to the point now where I don't even know if anyone rates him. And I think the reason why, for me, he's a bigger flop than I'm trying to think who you could argue. Look, that could argue.
I know you want to say it.
I don't want to.
I know you want to say it.
No,
Just say it, innit? Okay,
you
that
could
was
argue.
no. Go on.
You could argue Vettel,
Okay.
but at the same time, he beat his teammate, and that car is obviously bad. So, and I'm watching pit stop Franco getting cooked for saying that he spins. I'm not gonna say that he spins a lot. I would say that he has, he span in Silverstone. He went into the back of Ocon in Bahrain, and and he span a few times in a couple of times in practice. You as the caliber of driver that he is, like he can't keep doing stuff like that. But he got a podium, should have had another one. Overall, I have a personal thing with Vettel. I don't want to bring that into it. So I just think his stock has fallen so far, Daniel Ricciardo, from where it was at the start of the season and what everyone thought he would be. That it's really hard to look past Daniel Ricciardo as the flop of the season just because it's just, it's so disappointing. And you really do hope next year that he does sort it out. I can't buy the excuse of his driving style wasn't meshing with the car. I can't, 20, we had the longest F1 season in history. He had so much time to sort it out. I think, like you said, Keenan, get back in you need to, if you're not already, you need to be living next door to Woking. You need to be in that simulator. The amount of hours Lando spends on his eSIM at home, you need to put double that in the actual simulator at McLaren. And I pray to God, he beats Norris next season. Otherwise, his career is finished. Like, it is finished. And it would be an anticlimax, I guess I would say. Such a shame. I hate to do it. Sorry,
You know what? That pained me as well. To be
I
fair,
hate to do it. Then,
that really hurt.
who was your choice if it wasn't Daniel Ricciardo? Then,
Oh, listen, Aisha, I've got candidates. I got
oh,
candidates out here, brother. Man's got the notepad and things, fam. Because there's lots of fraudulent activity out here. I'm calling on behalf of HSBC because there's been some fraudulent activity on these accounts. So, firstly of all, on the organization account, I've got the FIA, the Fraudulent
oh my
International
god,
Automobile, for the howler of a race finish. How could you call that a race? That was like, I seen many things. I seen the fraud father trying to make people an offer. I seen all kinds of shenanigans, but
oh my
not
god,
like this. Nah. So the FIA, honorable shout out to them. In
yeah,
terms of team, I know Paris, shout out on the chicane as well. She's gonna absolutely rip me for this, but
yeah,
Aston Martin come with their thing too.
oh
You know,
yeah,
the saying is, try and be an inspiration, don't be a copy. They come with this B-Tech Mercedes, this pink thing, rebranded it as a Aston Martin.
oh my god,
New regulations and things like that just get distributed now.
oh,
And they just had a stinker. Absolute shocker from the grave. Couldn't believe it. Like, at least Mercedes, they had the same sort of issues as well with the FIA rules
yeah,
changing the floor and these
yeah.
things as well that are technical rules. They managed to balance out the W12 and make it a brilliant car. But where was Aston Martin though? Went missing, like, where's Wally? Nah, can't have that. And then, listen, the final one, which I know is gonna rile up quite a few people. Listen, he might be their goat, but he's not my goat. He must be Curry goat and them things there, because could never be my goat. Has to be the Iceman, which isn't
Oh yeah,
so ice anymore. Because listen, how's
yeah,
my guy retiring on 10 points?
yeah.
Got beat by Sonoda, a rookie that crashed every other qualifying session.
Oh
Got
god.
out qualified by Giovinazzi 14 times. And on top of that, he wants to come out and say that he's one of the greatest. Never.
Oh.
Could never be my goat, that. So Kimi Räikkönen has to be my flop of the year.
Wow, Denzel, that is.
Absolute pepper.
Wow.
Wow. It's almost like looking in my reflection. You know what? Yeah, it's like I look at you and I'm like, wow, is this what we sound like when we go in? Because I'm like, that is.
It's a North London thing, bro. It's a North London thing.
Hey. My goodness. I don't even know what to say to that. What I would say actually, I'm gonna do what you did on the last one and just give some perspective. In that, I'm willing to give Aston Martin some bail if their car next year is good, because I guess they would have completely sacked off this year to make next year good. But also, that's what happens when you copy someone's car. You don't know how that car probably works. The regulations change, and now you don't know how to fix it, which is the same thing that happened to Haas when they copied Ferrari's car and they didn't know how to sort it out, and they still don't know how to sort it out 4 years later. So it's a slippery road. But yeah, Kimi, I really yeah, I mean, like Tanya, I know you've not really got much to say on Kimmy, but I'm just
But
happy it's gone.
but
Not at all. McKinney, like, fairs. He's gone. Like, it's what was needed. Like, it's been overdue, isn't it?
absolutely,
Also,
Danny. And what I'll say with that as well is I absolutely despise how when Lewis Hamilton gets a bit vocal on the radio, he's shouting at them. He's being aggressive towards Bono and the team. Oh, that's absolutely unacceptable. But as soon as Kimi says something, where's my steering wheel? Oh, you didn't tell me. Where's the drink? With all these demands, it's all cool. No, that's why I have to give him flop of the year because he does all these little microaggressions and they're just brushed underneath the carpet like they're funny. But when it's Lewis Hamilton though, and we know why, then it's something else.
I will say on that thing about like Kimi Raikkonen, it comes across as like a little unprofessional. Like, I don't know, even in the interviews, so everyone thinks it's funny, like he's just, he's just being quirky. But I do find a little bit unprofessional. Like, you are a grown up, I guess, in regard to all the other drivers. Like, act like it a little bit. You're not setting a good example. You think you're funny. And I know the entertainment value part of F1 has played into like making him this kind of, this little, he's a bit of a joke at the moment. I mean, he's supposed to be Kimi Raikkonen, but he's a bit of a joke at the moment. And I have a prediction that they're going to do the same thing with Vettel. Like, it's already starting. Like, they're kind of cleansing or taking away this idea that he's a driver, and it's all about all these funny moments and funny sayings, and it's not about the driving anymore. And I think that's where Kimi Raikkonen kind of like veered off, because now it looks like he just doesn't give a shit about anything, which is really
And
disrespectful to himself, to his teammate, to the team, to everyone who works really hard every week to make sure their car runs. And then he just shows up and he says something like two words and everyone like thinks he's so funny, but I just find it unprofessional.
I absolutely think nothing encapsulates everything we're talking about more than the fact that this guy said before the season was going to start that he's looking forward to Abu Dhabi because it's going to be his last race.
I saw that clip. Was that
And
supposed to be funny? Because I
and
didn't laugh.
everyone's like, "Oh, that was so Kimmy." It's like, do you understand? Him leaving, do you know how much could have been sorted out if everyone knew Kimmy was leaving? So if Alfa Romeo knew that seat was gone, Bottas could have got that seat earlier. Someone else could have got that. Like, there's so many things which were basically hinging on my man telling Alfa Romeo he's going to leave. So they didn't even know he was going to leave. I was actually reading an article in the F1 magazine. They didn't even know he was leaving until summer. So this guy, in his mind, he's already checked out, and then people are celebrating it. And it's like there's 20 seats on the grid, and we like this is the reason why I have issues with with Vettel, with Alonso, and it's like if you're not performing at the top end, and you're not Alonso, not so much because I do genuinely think, as much as I hate him, he's just got this absolute egotistical thing where he genuinely does think he's still the best, and he's going to continue to try and strive for whatever he can. I think Vettel, we can all see the fire's gone out a long time ago. I don't think anyone's kidding themselves to say that he still has the desire and skill to race at the front of the grid anymore. It went at Ferrari. It's going even more now. Anyway, I think it's ridiculous. I completely agree with you, Keenan. I completely agree with you, Dens. I'm gonna let Tandy decide. Tandy, out of the choices, Daniel Ricciardo or Kimi Raikkonen, who was the flop of this season?
Dens. I loved the script. It was amazing.
Thank you.
However, we need to drag the Australian by his singlet, guys. And I think it's fair to just put Daniel in this category for now, as much as it pains me. I think this is quite sick that Nyash has made me be the one who says it out loud, but I hear it still. Yeah. So,
That was
yeah,
so good.
yeah,
Oh, that was great.
yeah. I think
That
like
was awesome.
what a flop Daniel Ricciardo was, and you know what's so embarrassing is, guys, if you look through all the podcast episodes, I just kept going, no, like he's known to just get better each race. No, guys, he's gonna get better. Like, that's so embarrassing, Daniel. I can't believe you've done that to me. Yeah.
Oh, Daniel, you have blood on your hands.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to, Daniel kind of flop of the season. Unfortunately for Daniel.